our pink and black Wreath Kit. So I will warn you that my 1.5 inch is going to be slightly different because I'm having to re-record it. So it comes with 2 mesh, a black and white and a bright pink. And we're going to cut these at 30 inches. So I just roll them out on my mat here and cut with my rotary cutter at 30 inches. I'm going to do 9. So once we have all of our mesh cut, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our ribbon tails. Okay, so we're going to take all of our ribbons and we're going to cut them at 12 inches. And I will set my sign aside. Now the method we're going to do, if you have your instructions, is method number 1, the ruffle. Okay, what I like to do is cut 2 of my ribbons at the same time. I find this to be a lot more efficient. Okay, so I'll load them both together on my ribbon perfect tails, and I will go around 9 times. So that's going to be 9 of each. Okay. When I'm done, I'll cut them off and just push them out. Now this one's going to need 2 more. Then I'll keep them together and I will fold them over and dovetail towards the end. So what you're doing is you're folding it over and you're cutting it towards the wired edge. Okay. So now we're going to get ready to do our ruffles. So what I like to do is pull the top or inner ring inside here so it doesn't interfere with the bottom, and I will open the bottom up. This way I don't accidentally grab one on the upper as I'm going along. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to separate my rolls. Now I'm going to pull it out, lay it down. I'm going to kind of cover the edge just a tiny bit. And I'm going to go straight up the center. Okay. So see, I'm just kind of covering that edge a little bit just to keep any frays that would happen tucked in. All right, then I'm going to tie it on and spread it out. And then I'm going to go to my next one. I like to work in 2s. I find this to be faster and more efficient. But you can do them all and then come back and do the ribbons, or you can do it the way I do it. Okay. So we tuck those little edges under. Place it down. Tie it off. Then I'm going to take each one, pull it up right along the edge like that, and then kind of spread it out. So this is going to help it stay nice and high. It'll give you a lot more volume. Okay, and then I'm going to take my ribbons fold them in half. And where I've folded them in half, I'm going to pinch right there. And then I'm going to run my hands under it. And I'm going to tie them in a good 3 times. And I can go ahead and trim off this excess. Push this in the back. And then spread these out. So I'm going to kind of stick my hand under and get it to do this nice little curl. Okay. And I will alternate my ribbons all the way around. There we go. I'm going to do the same process all the way around bottom. But let's go over that ruffle one more time. So tuck it under, you know, just a 1/4 inch or so. Then you're pushing with your thumbs and pulling back with your fingers. And all you're doing is gathering it right here in the center, so that when you're done, you're going to end up with something that looks a little bit like a bow tie. You place it down. Tie it good all the way around. Then ruffle the sides together. All you're doing is pulling them together all the way around. And this will help your mesh to not have a tendency to fall down or fall up. Okay, and I'm just going to do the same thing all the way around. Okay, so we've completed the bottom, and now we're going to move on to the top. So I will open all these ties up. And then we will do the same process. It's going to be slightly different for our ribbons, as we will crisscross them. But we're going to do our ruffles the same way. So just tuck the edge in there a little. Go straight up the center. Tuck it under. And then tie it on. And you are tying it right in the middle where we scrunched up the ruffle. Then you're going to pull it out, and you're going to make sure that you're not squashing the bottom, because it will want to. Pull this up just a little more. So once again, I'll do 2 at a time. One reason is you want to touch the mesh as little as possible. So going all the way around and then coming back and doing your ribbons, you can accidentally mess with your mesh again and cause it to fray. So the least amount of time you touch it, the better chance you have of little to no fraying. Okay, so we're going to spread it out just like we did on the bottom. That's going to help it stay in place and be much fuller. And then we'll add our ribbons on. This time, when we gather in the middle, we're going to place it down, tie it off. We're still going to trim off the excess tie, put it around the back, and we're going to crisscross. So we're going to put our larger ones this way, and our smaller ones over to the side. So there is an opening here, you can see. That's why the larger ribbon goes there just a little bit better. So the same thing with this ribbon. So I'm going to spread it out just like that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing all the way around the top. So remember, on the last one, you want to do the edges on both sides. But one thing I want to point out, if you have ribbons that tend to fall down, if you will take them and push them back and get a little indentation in the ribbon, then they will stand up much better. All of this ribbon is wired, and that's why it's very easy to get it to do that. It's one of the reasons that I love using wired ribbon only. There are a few times when I use something else, but it's on a very rare occasion. Okay, so we've gotten it completed. Now we'll do our bow and add on our sign. Okay, so for our bow, we're going to start with the black on the bottom. And we'll do like an 8-inch tail. Okay, and we'll go out to the 6-inch mark. And again to the 6-inch. Six-inch again. One more. Okay, and then trim off our tail. Okay. I'll go ahead and spread these out a little. Okay, then I will go in with my black, pink, and red 1.5 inch. I'll do 6 inches again. I will make the tail just a tiny bit longer. Okay, and then for the pink, okay, so 8-inch tail again. This time we're going to go in at 5 inches, make it a little bit smaller, so I can kind of move the ribbon around until I find a 5-inch. Okay, and we will do 2 at this size. Alright. There we go. Okay. Alright, and then we'll end up with our black and white. Alright, so this one is also going to be 5 inches. And I like to do that just so you can see the ribbon on the bottom a little bit better. Doesn't get covered as much. Okay. And then we can put a zip tie on the bottom. Okay, pull it out. Then I'll get a pipe cleaner. And I'm going to hold it lightly while I run this around the back and make sure I get it right in that groove from the bow maker. Okay. Then I'm going to run my pipe cleaner under here and tighten it as much as I can. Then I'll hold all 3 of these in the back while I break the bow. So all I'm going to do is twist and pull on the loops going from the bottom to the top. All this does is help me get a nice larger fluff. So when I say break the bow, all I mean is you're twisting it back and forth and pulling on it. If you have your zip tie in there nicely, it's not going to pull anything out. And then you can run your hands under the ribbon in the front, under the tails, and get a nice little cascade. See? Okay, I'll trim off that zip tie. And I'm going to use the pipe cleaner to tie it on. Okay. So I'm going to tie it on with my pipe cleaner. And I'm going to go around right where we have kind of that opening on each side. And I'm going to tie it right down to the frame. You always want to tie things to the frame when you can. That's going to keep it secure. Okay. Then I'll trim off the excess. Okay, tuck it up under. So you can see I tied it right here. Okay. Then I just see if I need to refluff anything. It's pretty good. All right. So for our sign, I'm going to use my metal hole punch, and I'm going to put a hole on each side. Okay. All right. Then I will take some of my 26 gauge wire. I'm going to get out about 20 inches. Trim it off. So I need 2. I'm going to run it right through that hole. Okay. I'm going to match up the ends so that I'm basically doubling it up a little. Okay. And then I'll twist it to keep it from coming loose. Okay. So I'm going to put it right out to the side. So for the one on the inside, I'm just going to take this wire, I'm going to run it inside, and I'm actually going to tie it to the frame on this side, right at the top. So this is going to help keep it in place a little bit better. I'll twist it around 2 or 3 times, and then I'll trim off the excess. On this side, I will take my weaving needle. This is just a plastic weaving needle. I'm going to thread it just like I would thread a regular needle, and I'm going to push it right through my mesh. It's just the quickest, easiest way to get down to the frame without having to spend a lot of time looking for the frame. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So tie it around the frame. And because this wire is a little bit thinner, it's going to be a little bit easier to kind of hide it. Which is one of the reasons why I like to use the 26 gauge. Okay. I'll trim off the excess. And that's it. We're done. Okay, so I always shake everything, make sure it's where I want it to be, and that's it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back with more videos. So make sure you subscribe so you know when we're uploading new content or when we're going live. Thank you.